Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, when you look at the NFL landscape right now, especially in the NFC South, there's a lot of chatter, a lot of whispers about what teams are doing behind the scenes. And one thing that's catching everyone's attention is the potential blockbuster move involving the Atlanta Falcons. And trust me, this isn't just about a simple trade. No, this could be a strategic game changer, a move that propels the Falcons into the upper echelon of NFL contenders, especially when it comes to their offensive firepower, red zone efficiency, and overall playoff readiness. So what's all this fuss about? Well, sources close to the league are whispering that the Falcons are eyeing a highly strategic move, targeting a mismatch elite, a player who can really elevate their offense to new heights. And the star of this potential blockbuster, none other than David Njoku, tight end of the Cleveland Browns. Now I know what you're thinking, Njoku? The guy who's been a reliable target in Cleveland. Exactly. But what's intriguing here is not just Njoku himself, but the fact that the Falcons are apparently willing to give up a third-round pick in the 2026 draft in Kyle Pitts, the young tight end who's been a cornerstone of their offense since entering the league. This is a bold move, folks. It's a statement that the Falcons are all in on making a serious push next season. And when you look at Njoku's stats and his recent performance, it's easy to see why. Drafted in 2017 out of Miami, Njoku has been steadily improving and hitting his stride in recent years. He made the Pro Bowl in 2023 and is currently regarded as one of the top 30 tight ends according to PFF. In 2025, Njoku has been a dominant force, with 22 receptions for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. His average of 12.7 yards per catch places him among the most explosive tight ends in the league. Plus, he has an elite EPA per target of +0.18, which is a big deal when you're talking about creating mismatches in the red zone and downfield. His PFF grade of 85.2 puts him in the top tier among tight ends, and his yards after catch average of 6.2 yards per reception is among the best in the league, making him a real threat in open space. Let's not forget his contested catch rate, which stands at 55%, placing him in the top 8 in the NFL. That's exactly the kind of reliable target the Falcons need in tight situations. And his red zone touchdown rate of 30% ranks him among the best in that department as well. What's also notable is Njoku's blocking ability, with a grade of 80. He's not just a pass catcher. He can also be a physical blocker, helping to open running lanes and sustain drives. Week 3 against the Giants showcased his versatility, 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown, plus a +0.19 EPA per play. That kind of production, combined with his career totals of over 500 yards and 35 touchdowns, makes him a perfect fit for the Falcons' offensive scheme. Now, let's set the scene a little here. Cleveland, as you all know, is struggling with their current quarterback situation after Deshaun Watson's injury issues, and their record of 2-4 is pretty indicative of a team that's tanking or at least reevaluating their future. Their PFF grade of around 73, with only 100 passing yards and 5 touchdowns against 6 interceptions, shows that they're in a bit of a rebuild mode, especially with Watson sidelined. Cleveland is also trying to free up cap space, about $12 million, to address their needs, mainly on the offensive line and defense. They're leaking sacks, with their offensive line allowing 31 sacks so far this season, which ranks them 30th in the NFL. That's a huge red flag. Now, here's where it gets interesting for the Falcons. By acquiring Njoku, they're not just adding a talented tight end. They're elevating their red zone efficiency from around 55% up to an impressive 75%. That's a massive boost, especially in close games. With Kirk Cousins at the helm, who's thrown for 500 yards with 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in 2025, having a reliable, explosive tight end like Njoku can make all the difference. His presence in the offense will help improve the team's pass yards per game from about 220 to around 260, making them more threatening downfield and in crucial moments. Comparing Njoku to Kyle Pitts, there's a clear difference in their style and production, but the potential upgrade in the red zone and the ability to create mismatches against linebackers and safeties could be exactly what the Falcons need to unlock another level. When you analyze Njoku's route win rate of 60% and his double-team rate of 25%, you see a player who demands attention and can succeed even when the defense plans heavily for him. His contested catch allowance of 45% is relatively low, showing he's reliable in tight coverage. His injury history, like the hamstring strain in 2025 that cost him a game, is something to watch, but overall, his health has been manageable, and his production remains elite when on the field. In terms of the offensive scheme, the Falcons are looking at a potential boost similar to what the 49ers saw with George Kittle, an elite tight end who can turn a game around with a few key plays. The addition of Njoku could be a similar spark, especially in the red zone, where the Falcons have struggled at times this season. Their current red zone scoring percentage hovers around 55%, which is middle of the pack. Improving that to 75% would not only increase their scoring chances, but also keep their offense on the field longer, controlling the game and putting pressure on their opponents. Now, let's talk about the big picture. For the Falcons, acquiring Njoku isn't just about boosting their offense. It's a statement of intent. They're positioning themselves as serious contenders, aiming for a deep playoff run and hopefully a shot at the Super Bowl. With Kirk Cousins, who has been playing at a high level with a QBR of around 64.8, they have a quarterback capable of elevating the offense. Adding Njoku would give them an elite red zone target, a reliable chain mover, and a matchup nightmare. The projected increase in win probability, around 15% in simulations, shows how impactful this move could be. From the perspective of the Browns, this move makes sense in a way. They're clearly not in a position to contend right now, with their odds of making the playoffs at +10, 0 in the AFC North. They're focusing on cap space to develop their young players and rebuild their roster, especially on defense, where they're currently ranked 29th, giving up an average of 30 points per game. Moving Njoku for draft capital and salary relief allows them to focus on their long-term vision, building a stronger, more balanced team around their defensive stars like Garrett, and perhaps developing their offensive line and supporting cast for the future. But for the Falcons, this is about more than just a single player. It's about the message they're sending to the league and their division rivals. They're making a calculated move to not only improve on offense, but to create a mismatch nightmare for defenses. With Njoku on the field, alongside Drake London, who's already logged 400 yards early in the season, the Falcons can run more explosive plays, increase their number of big gains, targeting around 12 explosive plays per game, and improve their overall offensive efficiency. Their PFF grading of 81. 3 for the offense could see a significant uptick, potentially rising to 87+ with Njoku's addition. And it's not just about the offense. This move could help reduce sacks for Cousins by roughly 10%, which is huge for keeping him healthy and maintaining offensive rhythm. Reducing sacks means more manageable third downs, fewer turnovers, and more scoring opportunities. All of this feeds into their long-term goal of a deep playoff push, maybe even chasing that elusive Super Bowl appearance, which has been a dream for Falcons fans for decades. Looking at the big picture, the odds for the Falcons to reach Super Bowl LXI could shift dramatically, dropping from +5,000 to +2,500, making them more attractive as contenders. In the NFC, they jump ahead of some other teams, and with Njoku's presence, their chances of winning the conference could increase to +250. The red zone mismatch potential especially benefits them in playoff atmospheres, where every possession counts and the pressure is intense. They could see their win probability in high-stakes rematches jump by around 20%, especially in iconic venues like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where they've already shown they can rise to the occasion. This strategic move, if it materializes, would be a clear signal that the Falcons are now in the conversation among the league's elite, ready to challenge for titles, and not just content with being a middling team. The addition of Njoku in red signifies a shift in offensive philosophy, more explosiveness, more reliability, and more matchup advantages. For fans, it's exciting to think about the possibilities, the new offensive schemes, and how this could unlock the true potential of their team. It's a bold, visionary move and one that could define the Falcons' trajectory for years to come. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Njoku is the missing piece to push the Falcons into Super Bowl contention? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. We're in a new era, and the road to that elusive championship is getting more exciting by the day. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, stay passionate, stay loud, and go Falcons.